Hey, what's up? Okay, so this morning I was on Instagram and I was talking to some friends that are across the country from me. They're in like upstate New York. And as always, I'm encouraging everyone, you should come out, you should come to the desert, you should come visit. And this friend this morning, I asked her, have you ever been to the desert? Have you ever experienced the desert? And she was like, no. And it kind of inspired me to do this video. Well, obviously it inspired me to do this video. So I sat down and I was like, well, what would you say, Stacy, to your friends or to really to anyone? What advice would you give them about coming out to the desert? That's not like the normal typical, because obviously like I'm not paid, I'm not endorsed. So I'm not going to tell you, you have to go here, you have to go there, specific places. But what would I tell you as someone who's born and raised desert, how to plan or make plans for a trip to Arizona, and what things to think about as you're doing it. So I thought, okay, that's fun. So that's why we're here. So hey, I'm Stacy. If you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you are desert, if you have been out here, if you know what I'm talking about, and I miss stuff, or there's things you disagree with or want to include, put it in the comments. Absolutely love it. The more the merrier. Let somebody understand really what it feels like coming out to the desert. But the more we give them, it makes for better visitors, more enjoyment, a lot of safety. So, that's what I'm about. So anyways, so the first thing I would ask someone, if you're like, Stace, I want to come out and visit you, I would ask you when are you hoping to come out to the desert? Because it does make a big difference on what desert experience you're going to have. Okay, so if you are like, I want to experience that heat, I want to feel what it's like in the desert, okay, there's a set amount of months. And if you're like, no, I can't go over 80 degrees and I'm gonna go out there to go shopping or whatever, there's a difference in the plans that I'm gonna offer to you. So the first thing that I'm gonna say to you is, do you want to be in the heat? Do you want to just have some beautiful weather compared to where you're coming from? Are you planning on being indoors no matter what? Okay, so those things are gonna make differences on how you're gonna plan a desert trip. I've barely started this video. I'm 2 minutes in, I'm already thirsty. Okay, so that's gonna give you at least some kind of understanding of how dry it is out here. Exceptionally dry. So water, water, water. I think of every video you've ever seen from me, I talk about water. So yes, water. Dry in the desert. Comes to the next point that I have. I wrote down notes for this because there is a lot. Like if you're like my best girlfriend and you're like, hey, I'm coming out here from England, what do I expect? I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna write all this stuff down and try to keep it all straight for you. So as a real friend, as a real person can tell you, yeah, this is what it's like. I was born in Las Vegas. I lived in Southern California. I'm in Arizona. I am desert, this part of the desert. So this is just my opinions, but I want to keep you safe and just like stuff because to have you think about when you're making your plans on your trip, or if you're just kind of curious on what kind of preps to make. Now, for most people that come out here and hike and do all that stuff, this is different folk. I'm talking to people who are like, I have no idea. Okay, so that's who I'm talking to. So there's a difference between heat and humidity. Now, coming from, I just told you, I am born and raised desert, dry heat, dry heat. I got to experience humidity. We lived for a year in South Carolina. Hey, shout out to Beaufort. We were in Port Royal. So I still got to live by the coast. I was by the ocean. I had never experienced humidity in my life. And I had been told before we left, oh, it's going to feel like this. Or like you just stepped out of a hot shower and it never dry off. And all these things that were so foreign to me as a desert kid. I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm so dry, bring it on. Had no understanding of what that was going to feel like on the whole day-to-day basis. You hear about it, but no, it's different, right? So we get out there and it's very, people who are in humidity are laughing at me right now, but it's like a smothering effect. It's very heavy. For those of us that live in the desert, we don't feel that. Our air is dry. So when I say that I'm like at 100 degrees, people that are in humidity are like, oh my God, no. If that's your only point of reference to hot, I get it. Now that I've been in humidity, I don't want to be in that in 100 degrees either. That's awful. So it is different. Your tolerance for dry heat might be a lot different in these numbers. So don't let the numbers scare you as much. We still have air conditioning out here. There's still pools. A lot of the hotels and stuff, they have those misters and stuff. We cool you down, okay? So I don't want you to freak out by you're like, it's 100 degrees all the time. Yes, it's hot, but we're not gonna sit you outside and just bake you all day long either. That would be something you've done to yourself, okay? So yes, there is a difference. What I noticed when I was in South Carolina, I didn't have to put lotion on myself. I was dewy all the time. Out here, my skin is like sandpaper. I am constantly putting lotion on, oils, anything I can come up with. I am zapped. It's part of the climate. So those are things that I want you to think about when you're looking at your calendar going, I want to get away from the snow or whatever. Okay, what type of our weather are you hoping to experience? Are you coming to visit friends? Are you coming to visit the desert? Are you coming to go to football games? There's a lot of different reasons that would bring you to the desert and different ways you would behave in the desert, right? So it's not, to me, it wasn't that simple of an answer. So I would sit with a friend and find out what kind of plans you actually have. And that would help you with your clothing choices on what you're going to do. If you come out here and say, I am not going to hike once, I plan on going to Scottsdale Fashion Square and I'm going to shop and all this. Yeah, bring your heels, bring your flip-flops, bring those beautiful clothes. Absolutely. If you are going to come out to where I'm at out in Gold Canyon, and you want to go hiking and stuff, those flip-flops are not going to be helpful. You need to have your hiking boots. So yes, of course, bring the clothing for what you're planning on doing. If you think spur of the moment, someone might talk you into climbing up something like Camelback or something, one of the local trails that seems easy, throw those extra shoes in there, but please, when you're going out and about or planning on going out and about, just walking around, flip-flops, throw those in your purse, have another pair of shoes, something else in the car is what I'd recommend on that on clothing. But yeah, depending on when you're coming out here, it could be exceptionally hot, it could get cold. You guys that watch me all the time, I've gone anywhere from I'm sweating, I'm dying, I'm just dripping sweat, to I've got a hoodie on, I'm freezing, you've seen me in snow. Our temperatures range out here quite a bit, and so I can't really tell you that answer unless you say, this is specifically when I'm gonna come. What I like to remind everybody that's from the East Coast to the West Coast, the difference in the size of states. Now there's certain areas, your states are really small. 4 or 5 of your states could fit in one of our states out here. So when you're like, I want to go to the Grand Canyon, I want to go to see Tombstone, I want to go see you, Stacy, I want to go to our states are big. So if you're coming out to the desert, so I'm going to include, this is mostly about Arizona because that's where I'm from, but come on, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, big, lots of cool places to go and see in there. But if you're planning on road tripping out in the desert, maybe the high heat is not when you should do it. Being in the car when it's hot, a lot of air conditioning, it's hard on cars. So there's, again, a lot of the timing issues. If you're like, I really want to go down to Tombstone from where you are, Stacy. Yeah, certain times of the year is going to be beautiful and certain times you're going to be a little hot. Depends, again, on you, what you're hoping to experience. So go prepared. If you're going to be in your car when it's super hot, a rental car, you're still going to need to bring water with you just in case car breaks down. There are gas stations. I don't want to give the impression that there's no one out there. These are huge cities, Phoenix. These are huge cities. So there's people around. You're going to get help, but still stay prepared. If whatever happens to you, you're going to need water. I'd say at any time, make sure that you've got water with you when you're coming out here, especially if you're new to here. A soda is not what's going to help you out. Make sure you got some gallons of water with you in the car. The states are big. So that's what I'm just going to remind you. These are big states. High heat. So when you're planning on the things that you're hoping to do when you come out here, if you're going to be out here when our heat happens, when it's warm in the summer months, our high heat doesn't hit until about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why am I bringing that up to you? If you are not used to the heat and you come out here in the summer, our lows sometimes are in the 80s. So the lowest we ever got was 80. And so it was 6-7 o'clock in the morning as you're sitting there thinking, should I have coffee? It's too hot. And it already starts ramping up. The heat starts just going on you until 3-4 o'clock at whatever the high heat of the day. Now, if you've chosen to come out here in months when we've got the triple digits, Yeah, you said we could have had a night where we got to 88. You're going up to 100 and too much. And then it's not really going to cool off that much. So that's a lot of heat to be in. Yeah, you're going to be in air conditioning, you're in and out and that kind of stuff. But it's something to take into consideration when you're making plans, whether it's with family or with pets or someone that maybe has sensitivity to the heat. Are you going to be around a pool? What kind of plans are you going to make? So days in and out of that, 3-4 days, that really wears you down differently than it would have just say, I'm going to the beach somewhere. This is a zapping type of climate. And so if this is new to you, in the middle of summer could really feel like a lot more than say a trip somewhere else. Because I hope I'm making sense on this. It's hard to explain desert and dry to people who've never experienced it. I made a couple videos, they are on my YouTube channel, where I took a piece of regular sliced bread and set it out to show you how quick that piece of bread dried out into something that I could hit on a counter. And so if you don't believe me, go find those videos, or I'll try to link it or whatever, but to give you an example of how quickly and what it does to you out here. Most people come out here because they do want to hike. They want to experience the desert. They want to see the saguaros. Hiking starts early if you come out in, well, anytime really, but in the heat, early. No one starts hiking at noon out here. No one, that's how you get yourself hurt. That's how you have to have rescue people come after you. No. Be responsible on the times that you're hoping to come out and hike. Look up your hikes, how long you plan on being out there, have enough water, that you're in shape for that. Let other people know where you're going to be. But when it's really hot out here, it's not really that responsible to go out on a new hike, that kind of thing. Make sure you're with people. I live out here. I love to be hot. I'm not going to bring a new person to certain hikes. Absolutely not, because I know how my body's responded. Now, that's a lot of the question I get. Well, how do you know if you're getting sick from the heat? Stacy, I love to be by the pool. I've heard all those things. I've been hearing that. Okay, well, the difference when you're getting zapped by this heat, it's a dehydration kind of thing that happens. You start feeling it in the back of your neck. You start getting a headache. You get dizzy. It's a sensation that's not good. And when that starts really happening, it can lead to you throwing up and really ruining a trip, at least part of your day. No, so it's not something I want you to experience, especially on your first trip. If this is who I'm trying to talk to, if this is your first trip out here, I am not going to encourage you in the middle of the summer to come out and try to do some hike. No, try to keep it safe. There's smaller hikes, part of hikes you can do, go near some experience and plan for your next one, especially if, like I said, if this is your first time. I bring that up because Camelback Mountain is not very big for those that do hike and climb big mountains and that kind of stuff. And it happens to be centered right in the middle of Phoenix. It's beautiful, and people go up and down it all the time. People that are in shape, people that put weights on their legs, they do all kinds of stuff. People that are used to training. Unfortunately, people that come to visit, they see that, oh, I can go Camelback. It's probably, and people have gotten rescued off of it. It becomes much more than you realize due to just the heat, due to how far you have to park from certain parts of it, exertion, all those things. And so it's not one of those things I recommend right off the bat. Know what you're capable of. Don't put yourself in some strange situation where you're on top of a mountain and it becomes too hot for you. What are you going to do? Don't do that to yourself. So limit some of those activities. If you're new to being here, go by the mountain, plan on not going all the way up, take some pictures around it, that kind of thing, but pace yourself. You do not want to start these trails in the middle of the day where it's too hot, or where possibly, where you've gone too late and now you're in the dark and you can't find your trail back, that kind of thing. So please be careful when you're making your plans for your hikes. There's a lot of information about the different hikes and the different levels of difficulty and all that stuff that they have out here. So that's something else. Lisa, where else? We're doing good. I got to get through a lot. I hope that this is helping you make your plans a little bit more. Okay, so how do I go out to the desert safety? I've got to really kind of think about the heat, what I'm hoping to do, when I want to come. when you come out here when it's high heat, everything is cheaper. Let's be honest. That's our off season. So you're going to be able to go to a golf course that, like right now, right across the street, it's a couple $100 to golf. You come out here when it's 110, it's like $50. So yeah, there's the price differences. So if you're looking for it to be less expensive, you're going to be in the heat. But to me, that's the fun time. That's when you're in the pool. That's when you can go to the river. There's tons of stuff that you can be doing. So depends on what you're hoping to do. But yeah, if money's not the issue about it, you want to go to the luxury and whatever, for sure, that you have more flexibility on the times that you're going to come out. The better price of things you're going to notice is when our heat starts going up. So that's how I would say that. Where are we at? The cactus is everywhere. You know me, I talk about that. I've got videos about cholla. Go to the videos. There's don't touch things that look sharp. If you're gonna come out to the desert, don't be poking around at things. Oh, if you're gonna take pictures out by the cactus, pay attention to behind you. Have the camera. If you're backing up. You don't want to back into these cactus. You don't want to get that. Like I said, I have videos for that. So go to the cholla videos. The last one that I would tell you. Okay, this to me is fun. If you're going to come out to the desert and you're going to come visit us, don't look for the food that you normally eat wherever you're from. I'm going to loosely say, because like I said, my friends that sparked this are from upstate New York. Now I'm going to guess like New York pizza, you know, so everyone's like, oh, you have good pizza. I'm sure there's good pizza in Arizona, whatever. But don't come out here if that's your first time coming out and going, I want to have pizza. Come to the desert. Come to the what I would say, okay, again, this is my opinion on how to eat. Come have good tacos, come out and have good burritos, some burgers out here. Go find any strip mall that's next to like a, I don't know, stoplight, anywhere that you see the different, there's like maybe a liquor store and there's a taqueria and there's something else, or, you know, whatever. Somewhere in there, get you a taco. Yum. That's where the food's gonna be at, a food truck, that kind of stuff. Don't come out here to the desert. This is my advice again, and go to like a chain restaurant. Then you're gonna miss out on the real flavors and the local things that are here. I'm not gonna, you know, call out any specific chains. There's some great food out here, and I want you to explore. And I could give you advice if you're on my patio, but like I said, I'm not paid endorsement. But no, just stay away from the chains. Go try to find the local restaurants that have popped up out that give you that flavor and the different, you know, of what it's like to be in the Southwest. So put all that together of when you want to come out, what you're hoping to do, some of the preparation you kind of need to come to the desert and enjoy. I hope I've covered some of the basics for you on this. Shoot me out some questions. Desert friends say, oh, you missed this, Stacy, you're wrong with this. What are you talking about? Absolutely. Much love to you all, and look forward to seeing you out in Arizona. Talk to you soon. Bye.